Hi and welcome to the Azam Shop channel on YouTube. I'm your host Muhammad Azam, and in this screencast I'm going to show you how you can use the FMDB API wrapper to insert your data into Sqlite3 database. The FMDB is basically an open source project, and it is a wrapper on the C library that is exposed by the iOS SDK. So if you like, you can use the iOS SDK C library, but it tends to be like you have to write much more code to achieve the same result that you can achieve with FMDB library. And FMDB is much more, you have to write very less, and it's very intuitive. Okay, so let's actually go ahead and do that. So once you download your FMDB library, the zip file, just copy the fmdatabase.h and fmdatabase.m, fmresultset.h and fmresultset.m into the FMDB folder, or any folder that you like. Currently, the FMDB, the classes that included in the FMDB, or all the code that it uses the release and retain and all that stuff. So you can go ahead and remove that if you are using the automatic reference counting. Okay. Also, you need to add the lib sqlite3.dylib that is required, or else your program will not work. And then you will need a database. So we don't really have a database, so let's go ahead and create it. So if I am right now under Learning FMDB project, and I'm going to just create a database over here. I'm just going to say Sqlite3 customers.db, and we can create the database right over here. So database created. Now we can add the tables. So create table customers ID integer and primary key, and then the first name is varchar this, and last name is varchar20, and then we can say insert into customers, and first name comma last name values. Now I'm using this SQL statements to insert these things. There are many plugins available, like in Firefox there is a SQLite manager that you can use, and there are some paid plugins. So if you don't like this, you can always buy those plugins. And then finally select all from customers to see that our data is inserted, and it seems like it is inserted. Okay, so at this point we're just going to close it out, close, and now let's go to that folder. So we're going to go to documents, and it is over here. So here's our file, and I'm just going to drag and drop it into the supporting files, copy the item, finish. So now it's over here, but this is not really enough. Okay, so this is in your supporting files, and what we need to do is to push it out to the iPhone document folder. Okay, and from there iPhone can actually access it. Also the simulator can access it. The good thing about pushing it out to the document folder is that when you back up your iPhone to the iTunes or to the iCloud, since it's inside the document folder, it will also be backed up. Alright, so now what is going on is that we have a code over here, and it's going to search for the customers.db, and this has to be done only once when the application starts. So that's why it's in the app.delegate.m file. We're going to search for the the documents directory. Okay, and we are going to basically create a path to the database, and we are going to say create and check database as our custom methods. And what create and check database does is that it uses the NS file manager, and it checks that if the database already exists, then it's not going to create it. It's not going to overwrite the database. And if it doesn't exist, it's going to move the customers.db file to the database path, which is inside the documents directory. And that's pretty much all it does. All right. So let's say if I run the program right now, you're going to see let's remove that. breakpoint, you'll see a UI table view, and none of the data is right now getting displayed, but it is trying to fetch the data in our viewDidLoad event and get customers. Okay, but if you go over here in customers.m, you'll see that oops, nothing there, right? So let's go ahead and do that. I'm just going to actually copy and paste some code, and I'm going to explain it. Let's see if I can correctly copy and paste. Here we go, and there we go. So let's see what's going on. We created an empty NS mutable array customers. This is basically we're trying to get the app delegate with reference to the app delegate, because app delegate has a instance or a property named database path, and we're trying to retrieve it from there, kind of like serving as a global variable. FM database with path, we get the path, we get the database, db open, we're opening the database, we execute our query, select all from customers is our table name, of course, we get the result, we iterate through the result, creating the customer object and adding it to the customers collection or the mutable array, and finally returning the array at the end. Pretty simple approach, pretty simple thing that you will do in pretty much all the languages these days if you're fetching the data, right? And when you get the data over here, you assign it to the property, the public property, which is customers, and you reload the table view. Let's go ahead and run this and see if it populates the data or not. So right now it's not populating. Let's go ahead and say reset content and reset. And let's go ahead and run it again. And here we go. Now the reason, of course, that it was not populating the first time was that the simulator already had a copy of customers.db which didn't have any records in it. Pretty simple, right? But now once you reset it, then using iOS simulator and then reset contents and settings, you will reset, you will clear everything in the simulator, and then you can actually have the database over here. All right. So that's pretty much it. So in this screencast, you learned that how to access the Sqlite database and using FMDB wrapper. And FMDB basically allows you to, simplify development when you want to do between iOS, Objective-C, and Sqlite3 database. Hope you like this video, and if you do, I do accept PayPal donations. Donations really help, and it keeps the website going, keeps the video coming. If you have something to donate, any amount, you can send it out on PayPal to adamsharp@gmail.com. If you have suggestions, then you can also use YouTube comments, suggest a video. I will try to get that video queued up, and then I will complete that video and host it. And that's pretty much it. Hope you like it. Thank you very much.